Hey, 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 what's up, America? This is the Ace Michaels Show. I'm Ace Michaels at it again in your face, bro. And that's what's up, man. Listen, I'm all up in arms about this girl. Yes, of course. At the heat of it, the center of it, it's always a girl. Now, this particular girl, she's not even a real girl. She's got me all wrapped up in. Uh, Tilly Norwood, if you haven't heard about this already, she is an actress, already famous, but yet unknown actress in Hollywood. Who's making big waves because she's getting movie roles, which, as you know, in Hollywood, it's hard to get those roles. Some people are fighting and struggling for their whole career. It could be decades they're trying to get a role. They want to get a speaking role. They want to get a lead role. They're doing everything they can to get a lead in these movies. And this girl's come along, Tilly Norwood, who is landing lead roles in A-list productions. But guess what? You already know. She's not real. She looks real. She acts human, but Tilly Norwood is AI. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So, where are we going with this, people? Are we about to have AI car mechanics and AI coffee baristas, and every time we turn around, we're going to see more AI, 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 AI? This was probably the reason, one of the crucial reasons that we had the actors' strike a few years ago and the writers' strike in Hollywood, because it's a real thing that now they say, well, we don't really need to hire Ryan Reynolds or Scarlett Johansson. We can just have an AI actor do the role. And speaking of Scarlett Johansson, there was recently a case where Scarlett Johansson auditioned for a role. The producers claimed that they didn't want to hire her for the role, but instead they used her voice and created an AI commercial for their tech company and then put it out and started making millions of dollars. And then Scarlett had to. I was going to say screw them, but that wouldn't be exactly what happened. She had to sue them for get the money for being taken advantage of in that way. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. We're going to be talking about this for a while on the show because AI, man, what are you going to do? It's amazing, the technology, yes, but it's also terrifying at the same time that it's made so many things so simple. Man, it's so simple that it's scary what can be done. And then you got to think when it comes to these actors who've put their whole life and their careers and their talents out there for years trying to get in the door, is it fair for a studio to say, well, you know what? We don't even need Harrison Ford. We can do 10 more Indiana Jones movies without even having him show up because let's be honest, he is kind of a pain in the butt. Anyway, if you want to give us your thoughts, opinions, suggestions, convictions, beliefs, ideas, I'd love to hear them. We'd love to have them on the show. And if you ever want to be a guest on the show, doggone it, make it happen. Get in touch with us. We'll put you on the show so you can speak your mind. All right, today on the show, speaking of Hollywood, we have an entertainer who's also a designer, director, and a writer for 35 years, entertaining in Las Vegas, an award winning speaker on the show today. Please welcome Mar Toscano-Solomon. Mar, welcome to the Ace Michael Show, baby.
Hey, Ace Michael, thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much. I'm excited to be here and talk about whatever you have coming up.
Oh, I ain't got nothing. Thanks for being on the show. That's your time. No, Mar, I was fascinated by your resume. Entertainer, designer, director, writer. Did you leave any jobs for anybody else to do? Like what don't you are you what don't do craft service as well? Like you got all the bases covered right here.
Thank you, Ace. Yes, I'm very creative sort, and yeah, I came to Vegas 35 years ago. I'm an entertainer here.
Mm.
I yeah. I started modeling first, and then from there, I started singing and using my talent. And since then, I just kept expanding. I just had a plethora of opportunity here in Las Vegas for me.
So you started off as a model, and that's also a hot topic these days with this Trump fellow. What is that like? Is that modeling industry? I guess what I'm going to ask you is, I'm going to word this a certain way. Okay, is there some truth in your experience to that manipulation of models in the industry? I think that was a pretty
You know,
safe way to say. I said that pretty safely.
yes, I would say. Every genre, like as a musician, do you do covers? Do you do someone else? Do you do Celine, like some girlfriends of mine? Do you do, you don't have to do, there's different genres, and it's the same with modeling.
Hmm.
Are you a swimsuit model? Are you a runway model? Are you a hand model? Are you a feet? There's different genres to every industry. And as far as modeling goes, I was a convention model. I worked with a lot of execs. And back in the day, it was great because it wasn't ran not to be against the feminist movement, but back then we spoke with the convention attendees, which were mostly male, and we would learn really what they wanted. And then the men at the convention, our bosses, whoever ran the booths, used to take us to dinner and wine and dine us. I remember multiple dinners at Ruth Chris
Hmm.
when it was on Paradise, multiple dinners and wine and dining, and then they could really find out what happened that day and who asked what and what their clientele really wanted and where their focus could be.
So I'm sorry, but that sounds to run a little bit gray area of problematic relationship stuff. But you're saying that didn't
Maybe
happen?
maybe I'm saying that maybe it could have happened, but the model always had the choice.
Mm,
And we're not in the world of judgment here. We all have issues going on.
mm.
But I have to tell you, it could land into the gray area. So now they do a lot of cocktail type parties. Now they do a lot of cocktail mingling events where you can talk to execs that you worked with during the day. And if there's any smart execs, they will ask you at those events to find out what their clients approach their booth about and
Mm.
where their direction needs to go for sales and where their direction might need to go for marketing. This is an opportunity at the conventions for them to speak about really where their direction could be for their company and business.
Now, why is there so many parties in show business? I'm not saying I never threw one, and I'm definitely not saying I never went to one. But in your opinion, because I got my own opinion as to why I do it, but why so many parties? Why are people partying all the time?
It's just for that reason. It's just a word. It doesn't mean you have to drink anything other than a Perrier or a Pellegrino. It simply means you're mixing and mingling, and again, discussing instead of like AI. This is real people connecting about real stuff that talks about your business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Speaking of
Yeah.
that, do you throw parties for your? Okay, so you write movies and you write books, and do you throw like a
Uh,
opening party or like a soiree to like release the book or release the film? Do you do that?
not for a book. I just did it on Kindle Direct Publishing, which is Amazon's KDP.
Hmm.
I released it there. It's at the very primary stages, but I am going to do some more marketing on it, and that's one of the reasons for the podcast right now. As far as parties go for albums and stuff, yes, excuse me, I've done those in the past, but this situation, this is not where I'm at with this.
hmm Now, see, I know somebody's going to ask me either in an email or I'm going to be at the grocery store and somebody's going to stop me and go, "Hey, man, I heard your podcast. What's your problem with parties, bro?" I don't think that there's any problem with parties. As a matter of fact, I think a party is a great way to network because what it does, in my opinion, is it gets people together. that probably do business of some type. You know, it could be the model and the photographer, or the investor and the producer, or whatever it's going to be. And it gets you in a let your hair down environment. You know what I'm saying? Where you can actually speak
Yes,
openly outside of the
yes,
office. You kind of get to know
yes.
what this person's sense of humor is. Maybe if there are drinks involved, which I, by the way, I never mix drinks with business. If I'm going to a business function, I'm not going to have a drink, because to me, if we're both drinking and then we start talking about business, it's going to get cloudy pretty quick. But that's me. But
It can get cloudy,
yeah,
Kevin. It
I could.
can get cloudy.
But I think it's great to have parties and do soirees and things like that. So I wanted to clarify that. Now, as far as your book, I'm very interested to know about your book, my friend. Tell me what is going on with this. How did you write a book? And let me, real quick, I'm gonna set this up this way. You did actually write the book. You didn't chat GPT the book, right? You actually sat down and wrote a
No,
book.
no. As a matter of fact, as I told you in the beginning when you introduced me, I have been singing for 35 years in Vegas, but I've been writing and singing and performing since I was 7 and 8 years old.
Oh wow.
I, yeah, well, I think that's mostly people start young. So I started singing. I started writing at like 12, 13, 14. I released my first single at like 21, I think. I,
Hmm.
I have 100 turndowns from the record labels, mostly Sony, Interscope.
Right.
I've worked with Gene Dozier. I've worked with Paul Shortino here locally.
Oh wow.
I worked with Carrot Top's opening for his show. I mean, I've done a lot of work throughout my years,
Very
and
nice.
met with A-list Nancy Sinatra. I was invited to an event with her from their producer just to hang. Just on and on and on. So the thing is with my book is that I have all these scripts and I could never get a record deal. So but I really wanted, I guess, a complete entertainment deal because I originally went to fashion design school before Rihanna. I mean, I was doing this decades and decades and decades before.
Wow.
So at this point, I took my scripts and I started to turn them into books because this is a hot thing right now, turning scripts, putting books out, on Amazon KDP.
Hmm.
So I wanted to start with something simple. I thought this was really good. I've learned these principles from my parents. It's called Live Your Marvelous Life, and their principles to live by. And it didn't start out as how it ended up. I wanted to I don't want to seem philosophical, but I am a faith believer, and I wanted to start it out as just not on the faith. But as I
Hmm.
started to write it, it became faith and quotes from like Aristotle and Benjamin Franklin, and then faith-based stuff with quotes from the Word of God, from the Bible. And so it started, and then it transformed to this.
Okay, so
To
I'm about to push some buttons here, because you didn't woke me up. You didn't poke the bear now, Mar. All right, so the book the book is called Live Your Marvelous Life. So my first question is, uh when did you realize you were living a marvelous life? That's number one. But then the second thing that really struck me in what you said is, why would you be a faith-based person and not really want to focus on a faith-based book? What was the thought process in that?
Well, it's not that I didn't want to focus on it, but I didn't start it going, I'm going to write a Bible like a book and I'm going to make it 300 pages
Right,
long so
right.
everyone wants to read it because it's only 125 pages. I mean, I'm a bottom line gal. I don't want to spend, 6 months reading, all these pages. I'm not a War and Peace gal, let me tell you.
Okay.
I like it short and sweet. So I just started writing it and it just transgressed to what it is. At the end, it gives you things to practice that were outlined in the chapter. My first chapter is called Breathe and Count to 10. So these are things my father taught me. When there's something, he always said, just count, count to
Mhm.
10, take a deep breath. And I think considering all of the issues in our society now, with the frustration with computers and AI and et cetera, I think that those are great words to live by. And I wanted to share some of these things that my parents taught me.
And so you did set out to write a book. Like you started off with the idea that you're going to write a book. It didn't just come from notes, became longer notes and blah blah. Blah. Like you started off from day one, said, "Okay, I'm going to start writing a book."
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So, and then
That
it transgressed, it transgresses from you're going to write a book to how do I want this book to go?
right. And then that leads to when you discovered you were living a marvelous life at that point, or some point. You must have at some point acknowledged that, hey, this life is pretty marvelous. Hey, that's my name. Wait a minute. I
Yeah.
like this.
You know what? I guess because of how my parents gave me such great self-esteem and self-control and self-awareness, I think that I've always lived my marvelous life. It was easy for me to come up with the title. I feel very positive about how my life's gone, the direction, what I turned down, what I didn't turn down. Throughout the world, throughout my life and throughout what's transpired. I don't have a lot of regrets.
Hmm. Now, how can the rest of us live a marvelous life, would you say?
Well, I think it's hard to say. I've found that people these days don't have direction, and or I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying they don't have direction, and they don't think about things that they could have done and decisions they could have made. And I just sometimes I look and say, how can you do that? What are you thinking? And so that's another reason I wanted to write this book because I'm not just saying because I feel that my life is better than someone's. I'm just saying because I feel like sometimes people just miss the boat when there could have been an opportunity for them to live their hope and live their fulfillment and write down their hopes and goals and dreams of what they want to do and fulfill in this life.
So, we can't present a problem without presenting some kind of a solution. That's just not cool. What do you think holds people back?
I think it's guidance. I think that it's how they learned when they were children. Like I said, this is from my parents. So, counting to 10 and, another thing my father taught me is to buy an orange and sell it. When you don't have any money,
What?
yeah, when you don't have any money, this is
Buy
how
an
the
orange?
Jews
Okay.
this is how the Jews came from Canada and traveled during, the Second World War. They didn't have anything when they came here. They got an orange and sold it. You get something, you sell it for 50% profit or 10% profit, and this is how people make money in the real world.
Right.
So these are principles that in my book that you can learn with, and so again, so this is just things that I think that start when you're younger, that you learn and how to adapt and make things happen for yourself.
Now, see, I totally did not wake up this morning thinking that I would be involved in any type of edutainment, but this right here has opened my eyes to some things. Give me another one of these. Okay,
Good,
so buy an orange and
good,
sell it.
good.
That was an easy one. That came off the top of your dome. Well, give me another
Yeah.
one.
How about let me. How about work out every day, or work out? Make sure that your body's fit and your mind is sharp.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
these are the chapters in my book. These are the chapters.
Okay, now you're
So
pushing
you
on
want
some
to
nerves right there, darling. Okay, work out every day. You can't just gloss over that. That's hard to do.
if you don't want to work out every day, you need to work out a couple times a week, 3, 4 times a week. You need to be fit with your mindset, with your body. These are, like I said, principles to live by, living your marvelous life.
Huh. What would you suggest for an individual? Let's say I'm just starting. Let's say I listen to this today And I was so inspired. Now I'm gonna go out first. I'm gonna go buy the book. That's what you folks should do first. You buy the book. Don't try to get it for free. Buy it, right? But then, okay, so I read the book. How do I go about? I know how to buy an orange. I can figure that part out. How do I go about starting a good workout? Like, what are you suggesting a person do?
I think it depends on the person. Like,
Okay.
are you a marathon runner? uh, there are some studies that say simply stretching is a good workout, especially as you become older.
Hmm.
So, or you're going to stretch, you're going to do some leg lifts, you're going to do some turns, you're going to do some lifting of weights. I think it's just basics. Start with the basics, unless you are a marathon runner, and then you have to just build up to what's good for you.
I like it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a moment to compose your thought, okay? Because I want you to give me, of this book, three takeaways that a person, in your opinion, the most important three takeaways from this book, so someone can start building their marvelous life. Because we want them to live their marvelous life. We really do. We want everybody to do that. No matter who you are, no matter what you've been through, life is what it is. We want you to build your marvelous life. Live your fullest. So I'm going to give you not even a few seconds here. We'll put some background music on so you can think about what will be the top three takeaways from your book. Here's your background music. Boom, 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 okay, that was the music. All right, so now what are you going to say? Top three, in your opinion, as the author of this book. Go.
Top three.
Hmm.
The whole book's great. can't I can't say three. There's no three. Chapter 6 is volunteer and give back to society. And generosity. These are just principles to live by. Live your marvelous life.
Hmm.
I can't give three. You know.
Okay, well that's a good sign. That means the book is so full of good information that you can't even narrow it down to three. That's good. Now, here's a question. Could a person live their marvelous life without doing any of this? Is it just possible that you could just fall into living your marvelous life, or is this something you really have to work at?
I don't think you really have to work at it. I think some things in the book people already do.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, when I was doing some research on what I was raised on, I found that many people have one or two of these things, or three or four of these things that I put in my book. But I think this is just an addition to who people are. They've said, "Oh my gosh, I never thought of volunteering for such and such. Oh my gosh, I never thought of counting to 10 and breathing. Oh my gosh, I never thought of, that's how I need to make some money. I need to sell an apple, or sell an orange."
Right, right. I like that though. I like that.
Yeah, this could go into Revelation if you wanted to.
Yeah, this is brilliant. I love it. And so the book is out now. I presume we can get it on Amazon, right? Are there other
KDP, it's
places
not.
we can go? Where can we get this book?
No, it's just on KDP right now.
KDP. Now, for those of us who don't know what that is, myself included, what is KDP?
It's Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, which is
Kindle Direct
KDP. Which is,
Publishing.
if you have an iPad or something, you can download it.
Okay, very nice. And this is a real book, not written by AI. And this is Mars' contribution to humanity, which is always important. That everybody should do something before they leave this planet to make the planet a better place. And this sounds like what Mar is contributing. You said you've been entertaining. Where can we see you? Are you still out entertaining, performing, singing, doing the thing?
I have some things going on. I have a couple speaking events that are planned. They're private, but I'm also hosting the Las Vegas is getting really international. I've been here 35 years. I am going to host the Bollywood Hollywood Film Festival coming up on the 25th of this month.
Oh wow, the Bollywood Hollywood Film Festival in Las Vegas. You would think it would
Yes.
be either in India or Los Angeles, but instead it's in Las Vegas. You gotta love how Vegas works. I love
Or New,
it.
or New York, but we you have to think we're not a big city, and we used to have more churches per capita. We're a little bit closed minded. We have some military here, so it's breaking a mold, breaking a mold of accepting so many other people. And I think with our brand new cultural diversity in Las Vegas, that we're going to continually to grow as a city. We haven't been a big city before.
I agree with that. And I agree with everything you're doing. And by the way, hats off to you for completing your book. There's a lot of times people can't get the idea, whatever ideal it is, they can't get it from the head space to the to do space, and much less to the completion space. So I really, really want to commend you for doing the book. Now, if we want to pleasantly stalk you on the social media, where do we need to do now to follow you?
I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram, and I have an X account. And yeah, so
And would they go to so we just go to the full name, or we
it's under Mar on my Facebook, Mar on the Strip 10 on my X, and I think it's under Mar also on Insta.
nice. Well, I really, really appreciate you being a guest on the show today. You got some keen insights. Congratulations and much success to you on your book. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That sounds like a
And
super, super duper winner.
I'm writing a couple. Well, I'm changing my scripts to books, so I have another one coming out probably March, April, May
N-
of next year. I'm just going to keep transferring my scripts to books, and maybe one of them will become a film. That's my hope.
Nice. Well, we hope that you will come and host some of our events too, and come out and speak at an event. We have a couple that we have coming up in this winter season, and it'd be great to have you come out and be a guest speaker at that. So check her out. I'm on the Facebook right now. Mar is all I put in was Mar, and it popped up for me. But on the Facebook, it does say Mar, and then in like quotes Mar again. So it's like Mar, and it says Marvelous Life. Big pleasure speaking with you today on the show, Mar. This has been the Ace Michael Show, and you guys can always be a guest if you want to. Just reach out to us. I always say if you got something on your chest, come be a guest is the best way to deal with that. And Mar, thank you again so much for being on the Ace Michael Show today. Everybody else, you know what I say: live the life you love the life you live. Thank you.
Thank you.